Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. So this is another one from the, this is actually the third round of qualifiers now for the Total War Fantasy League, I suppose. So this one is actually featuring Loremaster Sotek, which we had on the podcast the other day. So I thought I'd show off some of his gameplay. Now this is quite amusing because he's been in all three qualifying tournaments for this league, and every single time in the first round he's been up against the same opponent. And so this is the third bout against the same opponent. So the first two he lost. He was knocked out of that twice in a row by the same guy on the first round, which is ridiculous. And he got matched up with him again, which I just think is hysterically funny. The chances of that are so remote that he'd have the same guy 3 times, but he did. So yeah, so this is it was a best of 2. I'll be showing both of them in this episode. Actually, it's a double bill. So here he will be facing Daman. Daman, you can see, is playing the Beastman, and Loremaster Sotek is playing the Vampire Counts. So here you can see he's got a line of fodder of zombies. In the back line he's got some spearmen guarding against cavalry. He's also got Graveguard with great weapons, some really good armor piercing. And he's also got the Sternsmen, which are just, fantastic. They will regenerate, really good. And also on one side he has the Tithe, as well as, this sort of other meat shield. He's got an even sturdier bit of meat shield over here, the Tithe. Also, he's got the Mortis engine. He's got the Red Duke on his dragon, and he's got a Terrorgeist and some Fellbats. So, and over here you can see he's got the Dire Pack. So these guys really fast, really good anti-large. So very formidable. They will be very scary if he can get the drop on some Centigores. So Daman here, he's got 3 units of Centigores with throwing axes. He has Goreherds with shields in the front line. The shields probably just for the extra melee defense on these units. Obviously doesn't have to worry too much about missiles against the Vampire Counts, but still, that extra melee defense will keep these guys fighting for a bit longer. Also, he's got some Ungor Raiders in the back to get some good missile pressure. In the back he's got a Brave Shaman of Death. He's got Morga the Shadowgave, and he's got a load of Centigores with great weapons in the back line, which is very scary. 4 units. He's also got some Spearmen guarding against enemy cav. So pretty cool armies, so let's see how it goes. So straight away you can see the meat shields are just going to be sort of soaking up a load of the throwing axes here, which is great. That's exactly what they're there for. And here, huge charge just to try and wipe these guys out nice and early. Graveguard almost get there, but they don't quite. Here the Die Packer on the move now, trying to, try and get, sort of sneak in behind, really. Over here you can see the flying units have gone over to one side. Here, he's also got a Corpse Cart with Unholy Lodestone. That'll give another, good healing aura, which is handy. So, yeah, zombies taking a lot of damage, as you'd expect. Unfortunately, the Die Pack here looking like they're a bit caught out, so that's a bit rough, honestly. These are a great unit for dealing with Centigores, but you've got to catch them one at a time, really. You'll have some backup from something. So you can see Spearmen are trying to get to the, help these guys out, but the Die Pack are gone already. So that is a very, very iffy start for Loremaster Sotek here. Also, these zombies are knackered. Over here, these Graveguard, they're having a bit of a tough time of things because the Centigores are backing them up brilliantly. But they've basically been wiped out. So, and another breath attack. So these guys are done. So that's great. Also, the Goreherd are broken. These guys are crumbling, but they're moving forward, so they'll be able to get in the back line rather nicely. So some missile pressure on the Red Duke. Over here, some more Spearmen, just sort of waiting in the wings here. Might be worth bringing them in, try and help with the Chaos Spawn, or try and get them around to cause more hassle in the back line. Still more zombies, coming ahead here, which is pretty handy. So, yeah, pretty happy with how this is going, I think. But the Red Duke is taking quite a bit of damage. So here, Spirit Leech goes down on the Mortis engine, which at the moment doesn't have a lot of pressure on it, which is pretty handy. Here you can see the Terrorgeist came in to try and do some damage to Morga, but he got pretty surrounded, by these Centigores and the Goreherd and Morga, so it's pretty rough. Here, the Brave Shaman of Death, still pretty happy, still in pretty good stead here. But, this side is holding out pretty well. The Sternsmen, the Tithe have taken no damage, which is impressive. Still 140 models there. These Graveguard are doing alright. The Sternsmen, actually, having some tough times here. Oop, they did manage to get back. That's good. Or are they? No, they are crumbling. My bad. So now Centigores are coming for the Mortis engine. Good to take him out early. Over here, a lot of things are starting to run away. So these Centigores are taking a lot of damage here. I mean, they're just trying to wrap up Skeleton Spearmen and zombies, but they're holding out pretty well with backup from the Terrorgeist. I think breath attacks have been in play quite a lot here. So, as soon as Centigores charge in, breath attack them, because they're not going to perform particularly well once they're that damaged, So that's pretty great. So I think another Spirit Leech comes down here on the Mortis engine, which is pretty rough. The corpse cart here is trying to fend people off with the help of the sternsman, but the sternsman will hold out very well. They got an invocation to heck now, you know, they got the health up, they're not crumbling anymore, but they are getting rear charged, so that's pretty rough. Zombies here starting to break, but the spearman's still going amazingly. So Terrorgeist making sure to chase off the Centaurs so they can't come back, because Centaurs, they don't tire out unless they're broken. So, you know, you do want to basically chase them off, because they will come back and still be pretty formidable, you know, en masse like that. If a load of the units come back and charge together, it's going to hurt. So, yeah, you do want to chase them off, make sure they don't come back. So, Mortis Engine now under a lot of pressure, so these Centaurs will come back in to try and deal with him, and also he's being shot by everything else. There we go, disintegrated. So that is very rough for Lord Master Sotek, who is down to just a few units. He does have a very healthy unit of Graveguard here, though, which is pretty ideal. Also, the Sternsmen are holding pretty well. And, of course, the Red Duke has come in for a fight. And his health is actually higher than when we last looked. Because, you know, he did get some healing in. So that's pretty great. But without the Mortis Engine, it's going to make things a bit tougher. But there are zombies and spearmen everywhere, like the back line. And what units there are left of these, you know, the Gore herds, they're all very, very injured. It would not take long to terrify them away. The Red Duke only has to sort of, you know, hop over, you know, 20 feet and they'll get terrified. So it's pretty rough. So all these zombies are holding them down. The Ungor Raiders, they're not able to fire while this is going on. The other Ungor Raiders seem to have been chased off somewhere, so that's pretty great. But, you know, still some more Gore herds that can be brought back into this fight. So, you know, there's still quite a lot of units, even though they're all looking quite damaged. So these zombies need to move, really. But Morga, he's taking a ton of damage, probably thanks to El Sif. The Bray Shaman has taken a bit of damage, but these Sternsmen are still going. The Tithe, amazingly, is still really good, really nice and healthy. And these Graveguard with great weapons can do a lot of damage against this stuff. Unfortunately, the Corpse Cart is getting a little bit caught out, so they're not going to get that good healing aura. So that's rough. It might get taken out here. But actually, nope, it looks like they've got sidetracked and are attacking, you know, the units around, the bodyguard units, so all these zombies and all sorts. So over here, another Spirit Leech comes down the Red Duke, but the Red Duke is trying to keep some good pressure on these melee, on these missile units, which is really good. More Sentinels coming back, as they always do. But the Terrorgeist is back. He's chased off, you know, 3 or 4 units over there, and now he can come back. He's already made his money's worth, but he's full health. That is a very nice healthy unit to come in and wrap these guys up. Obviously it'll cause terror, so against all these already damaged units, it won't take much to terrify them away, and then he can just chase them off. So here, he's about to come in on these Centaurs. With that anti-large damage, and, you know, these guys' lack of armor, he's going to hit like a truck. So that's very rough for those Centaurs. More are coming in, though. Just, they keep coming. There's just so many of them. There's, what, 7 units of Centaurs in this battle? Or was it 8? There was only 3, right, the throwing axes. Anyway, so all of this infantry is now moving up, which is pretty great. So these guys completely won the infantry engagement over here. Morga's having to get out of there before he gets completely bogged down. And he's trying to back up his units. He will be able to keep their leadership up if he's nearby, and he really needs to do that. So Daman is now trying to consolidate his troops here. But, you know, Terrorgeist now chasing off another 2 units of Centaurs. So that's pretty great. That is a great tactic, because the Terrorgeist will be able to keep pace with them and just chase them off. So once again, Red Duke flying overhead. He's nearing his healing cap, which is pretty rough. And this Death Sorcerer, this Brave Shaman of Death, still going. He is still alive. And he's used the Jagged Dagger to get his, you know, increase in power reserves and recharge rate, so he's trying to get another Spirit Leech out of him by the looks of it. So over here you can see all these cheap infantry. They're not going to hold up particularly well against the Sternsmen, who... Oh nope, the Sternsmen have run off over here. They're after Morga, which is fair enough. He's got that anti-infantry bonus on his side, and they will regenerate a little bit more. So they should do pretty well. And those triple gold chevrons that regiments around get, it means their stats are slightly higher than normal Graveguard. So you can see melee defense of 51, only melee attack of 29, but he does have the anti-infantry bonus, which will help. You know, it does also, it's not just damage that the anti-infantry or anti-large bonus does, it's also to melee attack against those units. So you'll see they will actually get some good hits on Morga. But over here, amazingly, the Tithe are holding out. They are still in great health, which is crazy, because they're just zombies at the end of the day. So, pretty formidable. Very, yeah, neglected to take them out early, and actually they're really, really whittling these guys down. And yeah, with the Graveguard sort of, you know, mixed in, it's pretty good. It's pretty good to have the Tithe here. They're just so huge model counts. So more Goreheads charged in the back, and we've got stuff starting to crumble now, which is very sad. So there we go, there's that other Spirit Leech on the Red Duke. Some more missile pressure on him, and yep, the Sternsmen now are starting to crumble against all this, all the rear charges, and you know, just fighting Morga, who is going to hit very hard. Makes it pretty rough. But here we go, more stuff is starting to get terrified away. Bray Shaman has now shattered, so that is fantastic. Don't have to worry about him anymore. And that's army losses, guys. So there we go. That's a win for Lord Master Sotek, which is pretty great. So, wow, that took a while to, go to the end screen. Alright, so have a look at the breakdown. And, of course, we will go into the second match after this one, which would be pretty great. So, you can see here, wow, okay, Bray Shaman did fantastically, 108 kills. On that chariot, pretty formidable, honestly. He, just cycle charging in and out of units, he will get a lot of kills. A lot of those would have been zombies, though, because he was in the back line, trying to help out those ranged units for a lot of it. But still, a lot of kills. Morgan got a fair few kills, but, he's just so tanky. That's kind of his job. And, the odd Chaos Spawn summon, those Chaos Spawn probably got quite a few kills too. And definitely, slowed things down a bit. So, you can see here, the Sternsman, though, 176 kills. These guys did fantastically. Just with that constant regeneration, and they hit so well, and with the anti-infantry bonus, it's just huge. These guys are great in this matchup. They will just chop through most, beastman infantry for a long time. Of course, you do have to worry about getting charged by, Centicles or great weapons, or taking too many throwing axes. Of course, they do have silver shields, so, if they're braced for it, they will, negate a lot of the missile damage, but these guys are very formidable. You've really got to take them out early, I think, or keep away from them a bit. Because, it gets out of control. So the Red Duke as well, 197 kills. He was everywhere in this battle. He just kept charging one blob after another, trying to keep everything, sort of getting terrified, getting some good damage in. Because, of course, he couldn't rely on the terror from his Terrorgeist, because the Terrorgeist was chasing off Centicores, which I think is a great move, because these guys will just keep coming back. And they will do a lot of damage on the charge. And even with, small model counts, they can charge in and do a lot of damage. They won't stay in the fight long, probably just get terrified again, but that initial charge will hurt, and you don't want that. So just charging them off, chasing them off the field. I mean, you're charging 3 units at a time off the field, so it didn't take long to get rid of these guys, especially just hitting them really hard with the breath attacks, in their initial engagements. It just really cut through their effectiveness. I mean, look at the kills here. I mean, and these guys, these Centicores with throwing axes, they charged into zombies, This is not a lot of kills. To say that they, were fighting zombies too. They just got completely shut down, which is brilliant. I mean, Lawmaster knew to focus these guys down. There weren't besticles on the field, so he didn't have to help his infantry line too much. He knew the Sternsman could basically fight all of this on his own. So, he just used the breath attacks to get rid of the Centicores that were the true threat of this battle. So, very interesting. Absolutely loved it. So, let's go over to the next one, shall we? Okay, so here we are with round 2. So, straight off the bat, let's see what we got here. So, you can see Lord Mazdamundi on the Palanquin, because it's Lord Master Sotek playing the Lizardman, as you'd expect, but he's against the Wood Elves, who wants that missile resistance, and on the Palanquin he does have missile resist, so you definitely want to keep that in mind when you're facing the Wood Elves. Zlak can get focused down very easily. But Lord Mazdamundi, slightly smaller target on the Palanquin, and he will shrug off a lot of the damage, so that is really useful. So, gotta love that move. Don't often see him on anything but Zlak, to be honest. So, he's guarded by some Temple Guards. Temple Guards will be able to fight any, Centicores or anything that try and charge in to deal... Sorry, not Centicores, we're fighting Wood Elves now, any Wild Riders or anything. So that's pretty great. Also, Cold One Spear Riders in the back. These guys don't have a huge amount of melee attack at 20, but they do have a good charge bonus of 42, and they do have good anti-large and armor piercing, so they will be able to do a lot of damage to cavalry. Obviously, the armor piercing is a huge amount, but that anti-large will see them through. They're very useful. And these guys don't rampage, which Sotek pointed out in our podcast the other day, which, we're very surprised by. We thought all of the Cold One units did, because they do for the Dark Elves. So, interesting. Also, we got Skink Chief here, so, Skink Chief, just great for just applying pressure to Lords, and he's fast enough to escape dragons, so, just really useful. Obviously, you've got to watch out from, arrow fire will shred him, so he's got to be careful, but he can keep constant pressure on with Skink Chief, so, absolutely love it. Also, he's got some Chameleon Skinks for some extra missile pressure. He's got some Skink Cohorts here, so he's got a few of those, 3, I think. In the back, he's got some more Chameleon Skinks here, and, and he's got some Feral Cold Ones, and, a Saurus Scar Veteran here, so, pretty interesting. So, and some more Cold One Riders. So, really cool hidden contingent over here, but it's far enough back in the trees that if he tried to come in here, he could quickly get around, which is pretty great, and he won't get spotted. So, pretty cool. So, I mean, that's about it. He's got some Saurus Spears in the middle, and some Saurus with shields as well. So, pretty cool. So over here, the Wood Elves, you can see he's got some Dryads, some War Dancers with Azrai Spears, some Eternal Guard with Shields, some Eternal Guard with Shields, he's got some more Dryads, some more Azrai Spears. In the back he's got Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts and some Way Watchers, so pretty formidable. He's also got a Glade Lord, seemingly on foot, which is interesting. So, yeah, pretty cool. Don't often see the Glade Lord on foot. It is the Glady, of course, because Prey of Anathrema is just too good. So, very cool. Also, Spellsinger, Law of Life, would be really good to keep these guys healed up. And in the back here, you can see he's got some Sisters of Thorn, some Wild Riders, and he's got some more Sisters of Thorn and Wild Riders in the forest over there. So, very cool armies for both of them. Both slightly unconventional, actually. You don't often see armies like either of these, you know, with this kind of diversity. So, it's pretty cool. So here the Chameleon Skink's going to have to back off because this is very scary. The Skinks need to get out of here because one charge from these two and those Skink, you know, that Skink cohort is done for. So early on, some good damage on the Saurus Warriors with shields. They are striking off some of the missile damage because of the shields, but the amount of it and the damage these guys do, it will melt these guys. So very scary. It's going to help the Dryads in this fight. The Skink cohorts are coming in. Obviously, this line is a little bit wider than the Wood Elf one, so we will be able to get, you know, pretty good engagements like the Skink cohort against the Azrai Spears. These guys are so much cheaper, but these guys really want to wait for cavalry. Although it does look like he's going to try and finish off the Dryads too. So here you can see the Temple Guards now taking a lot of damage. Very good target, very expensive target. And here, beautiful Prey of Anathrema on the Cold One Spear Riders to deny them that charge bonus on this unit. And like I said, Skink cohort have no chance against these guys. Luckily, with the Skink Chief and the Chameleon Skinks firing into them, you know, it'll poison them, it'll really help in that engagement. But, you know, the Cold One Spear Riders, they should be able to do a bit of damage before they go down, but that is not a good engagement for them at all. Over on this side, though, things are going a little bit better. So you can see these Wild Riders did get a bit caught out, but the Azrai Spears have joined the fight now because the Skinks weren't penning them in. So that's rough. But Chameleon Skinks are coming in to back up as well. They will do a lot of damage against the Azrai Spears. So Shield of Thorns comes down, because obviously, you know, the free spells from the Sisters of Thorn will be very useful here. Pretty sure another one comes down. Oh no, that's an Earthblood to keep these guys fighting. But being shot in the back by the Chameleon Skinks and the Skink Chief, you're going to see these guys are going to take a lot of damage trying to fight through these Cold One Spear Riders. They do actually have, yeah, 90 armor, which is pretty good. So, pretty rough. These guys need to be cycle charging, but of course as soon as they start trying to run away, the Cold One Spear Rider is going to pursue and stab a lot of them in the back. So Apotheosis comes down on the Temple Guards to keep them going. So that's a pretty great move. So some Skinks are way back here. They need to get back in the fight. But these Skinks have managed to get in the back line, so they've tied up some Glade Guard here, which is very solid. Over on this side, you can see the Chameleon Skinks are being chased away, and the Azrai Spears did manage to wipe up all these Cold Ones, which is really rough. So the Cold One Riders are coming back, but here the Chameleon Skinks, they're just such a nuisance to chase. So these Wild Riders are going to take a ton of damage trying to get in here. Because, I mean, look at this, it's pathetic, these charges. I mean, they're just sort of poking the odd one in the back and then falling back themselves. It's terrible. Chameleon Skinks are really dumb like that. They just can't be charged by cavalry if they're running directly away. Over here, the cavalry has managed to finish off the Chameleon Skinks on this side, and the Azrai Spears did come in to finish off the cavalry, so things are looking a bit grim on the flanks. But in the centre, oh no, those Skink cohort are gone. The Dryads came in to finish them off, along with the War Dancers, so that is rough. Saw a Scar Veteran, though, hunting the Glade Lord, which is a great move. So Deadly Onslaught comes down on him as well, which is really useful. He'll do some solid damage, definitely. So, oh, also, he's procced a plaque of Dominion, which puts down leadership, which is pretty cool. So hopefully he can rout that Glade Lord nice and quickly. And the Skink Chief is now helping, you know, whittle him down, which is great. But, you know, Earthblood did go down on him, trying to get his health back up, and that worked very well. So here you can see Lord Mazdamundi is in a bit of trouble. He has taken a lot of damage over the course of this battle, even with the missile resist. And now there's, yeah, a lot of Dryads and War Dancers in here trying to deal with these Temple Guards and Saurus Warriors. But the Temple Guards should win out here fairly well. But there's still a lot of cavalry knocking around, you know, Wild Riders, Sisters of Thorn. It's pretty rough. More Dryads over there chasing off those Skinks. Not sure that's entirely intentional, if we just wanted to, you know, see the end of them. But here, you can see Wild Riders are coming back in. Luckily, a lot of Spearmen here. A lot of Spearmen. And because they're Saurus, you know, they will actually trade very well against a lot of the infantry that the Wood Elves could bring. So, pretty good pick, because, yeah, the cavalry, like charging in, is going to do so much damage, so having a load of spears knocking around is always good. And you see he's got them in two clumps, so he's got the Temple Guard on this side with some Saurus, and over here he's got Spear with some Saurus, so it's pretty great. He's got, you know, anti-large in every sort of engagement here, which is great. So, yeah, huge damage on these guys. Shield of Thorns does come in. Obviously these Azurai spears on Mazdamundi, that's not where you want Mazdamundi to be. But over here, the Skink Chief is keeping the Way Watchers busy, which is fantastic. But, you know, he is coming with Sister Thorn. But this is beautiful. So we're going to see a Desolation Cities come in here and can do a ton of damage to the Sister Thorn and a load to the Way Watchers, and they're still all being wrapped up by the Skink Chief, which is really good. So, and yeah, more Skinks running around in the back line. They did manage to come back, and they're chasing off some units. So, pretty great. And the Glade Lord appears to be... Oh, no, he's over here. Yeah, Glade Lord did get out of that fight. He's still being hunted by the Saurus Skull Veteran. But Prey of Anathema goes down on him just to give him a chance to run away. He has managed to pull out the Way Watchers, thanks to the Sister Thorn, keeping the Skink Chief busy, which means the Way Watchers will be able to fire a bit into things, and that'll help a bit, but they're almost out of ammo. So the fact that the Way Watchers are out of ammo and all the valuable units are still going, you know, for the Lizardmen, that's pretty rough. So I see Wild Riders trying to do some cycle charging, but, you know, the Saurus Scar Veteran, pretty sure he's anti-large, yep. So he'll do very well here. So Banishment is going to come down here, it looks like, and that should finish off those Wild Riders, as long as he gets a good hit. And it's a pretty good hit. So the Skull Veterans, yeah, he's going to win that easy. So yeah, things are looking bad. Another Apotheosis went down on Mazdamundi. He's got a load of health again. So basically, it's just the Glade Lord and some archers with no ammo. Yeah, things aren't looking great. I mean, there's... Oh, nope, they just broke, I think. Yeah, they just shattered. Whoever that was. So that's not good. Things are looking pretty rough for the Wood Elves here. Lizardmen got a lot of tools here to deal with them. Going wide and making sure the Lord had missile resist is definitely a big help. Yeah, we had enough spears to deal with all the Wild Riders that would normally just charge into any of the infantry and deal with them, but he had enough spears just to make sure he had spears wherever they needed to be, which is pretty great. So now Skull Veteran can just charge into any Way Watchers. Net of Amantok went down here, so he can't retreat and, you know, try and fight another day. That's pretty rough. So now Temple Guards are in his Starfire Shafts, and that's just not going to go well for them. So that's pretty crazy. And yeah, the Skull Veteran still just giving so much pressure in the back line. So Sister Thorn here, 3 models left, which is crazy. Plaque of Dominion comes down again, which is going to affect their leadership, and you'll see that will tip them over the edge at some point. Unless they can ride this out. Shield of Thorns comes down, try and help them out, do more damage to the Saurus Skull Veteran. But, oh, massive hit on the Glady there. So now Skink Cohort's coming back in, but amazingly, these Sister Thorn have come back for another go. Sister Thorn are crazy. They will... You can get use out of them when there's only, like, 3 models left. They will still come back. Oh, they've shattered. So Army losses hits, and that is a win for Lord Master Sotek, which is fantastic. So twice in a row he was knocked out the first round, and finally he got his own back against a very high-level player. Daman is fantastic, very good player. I think he came 2nd and 3rd in the previous 2 tournaments, or you know, qualifiers at least. So the fact that Sotek managed to actually, you know, deal with him, really great, very impressive. So well played. Well played, Sotek. Very well played. So, guys, obviously, he does have a YouTube channel, so go check him out. There'll be a link. And yeah, just great play by both of these guys. But yeah, this time round, Sotek did get the upper hand. So, good on him. I'm proud of you, buddy. So, here you can see, not a huge amount of kills from Mazdamundi, as you'd expect, because it was very tactically placed, those big spells of his. They weren't done on, you know, big clumps of infantry, because frankly, Daman didn't give him the opportunity to do that. So it really limited the ability of those, you know, big spells to do massive damage across the board. But, you know, he put them exactly where he needed them to be, just so he could ensure that he'd win those engagements, which is pretty great. So, pretty cool. Obviously, the cold ones, you know, they all did get a bit overwhelmed. It might have been better to have a tighter formation, keep these guys nearer the spears, but, you know, it wasn't that wide a front line, so maybe he couldn't really afford to send these guys, you know, to back up, you know, his Cold One riders. But it kept the cavalry busy for a long time. The Chameleon Skinks backing them up meant that, you know, the Wild Riders and Sister Thorn taking a lot of damage before they could join in the main fight, and obviously the main fight was full of jagged spears and halberds, so you got to watch out for that. So I think it's pretty great, just really good use of the Lizardmen here. Because, you know, you expect a lot of big dinosaurs that you can sort of bully with Starfire Shafts, and obviously they're very expensive. But no, Sotek just went the other way. He just went, nope, it's going to load of cheap stuff. I mean, not completely cheap. I mean, look at the size of the army. It's not massive. I mean, Temple Guard, Cold One Riders, it's all pretty expensive. But it's a much wider line, you know. He had more models. He didn't just have these single model units that could be Prey of Anathema and then focus down. Because you can kill a big dinosaur pretty quickly with you know, with this kind of setup, you know, with the Way Watchers and the Glade Guard. It's very rough. So yeah, he just avoided giving him the chance, you know, to take out a Stegodon or a Carnosaur for free, which is pretty great. So definitely a good way to play it. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.